Welcome to the Literally First Class podcast, where I will teach you how to overcome anxiety and achieve somatic success. I'm your host, Keri Ford. I'm a somatic success and holistic life coach here to bring humor, insight, and wisdom to the modern day woman that wants to feel alive in her daily life. You ready? Come on, I saved you a seat in first class. Let's talk about giving less fucks. It's taken me a long time, arguably my entire life, to get to this point. And let me tell you, it feels so fucking free. I 1000% attribute this to the somatic work that I continue to do on myself and with a guide, and I consistently work with a mentor. This is why recently, actually, I've discovered that I do believe you can have a forever mentor. I used to say, I don't want to be your forever coach and I don't want you as a forever client. Like, I want you to have your own wings to fly. Yes, I do want that in terms of, you having your own vision for yourself and your own confidence and your own self-concept where you feel sufficient to go out into the big real world and like practice all of these things that you've landed. But I also think if your mentor is continuing to do the work on themselves, there is no reason why they can't be your forever mentor, because as they grow, you grow and you evolve together. And that became really clear to me at the Unmade retreat when I had a few clients there that had been with me through every evolution I've ever been through over the course of the last 10 years. So I'm excited because I've found my forever mentor. And I know that because she continues to do the work on herself, I only ever continue to reap the benefits of that. So that's really cool. And that's what I envision for all of you guys. Okay, that was a side tangent though. What I actually want to talk about is why somatic work has really been the gateway for me to have more fun and give less fucks. So I came up with a list of a few things that I thought might be helpful for you that I've used in my life that have helped me get to this point. Now, at the end of the day, you're still going to have feelings, emotions. You're human. You have a nervous system, and your nervous system constantly scans for real or perceived threats. That's literally its purpose. So that's going to happen. You're going to be triggered. You're going to have human moments where you do give fucks. You do care. And let's not let those be the drivers of your actions, behaviors, and thinking. So that's my big preface here. So the first one is get weird. Be curious. At first, this might feel rebellious to you. And I'm going to give you a very simple example, but something that even when I say it, my body still responds, which just is an indication of how deep the good girl wound and how deep the labels and boxes that I've placed myself on really runs, right? That programming runs deep. And I know it's a collective thing. It's not just individual to me. It's throughout most women in Western culture. But that is, if you always paint your nails like me, like a light pink, go crazy. Paint them like hot fucking yellow. Paint them something that you would never do before. Like get weird, explore the edges of your comfort zone and push beyond them. And then get curious about what's available to you in that experience. So this can be with anything. I also gave up makeup for 30 days. That was actually really cool. I would recommend everyone does that feels horrified at the idea that giving up makeup actually means something. It may feel like there is something real that you're giving up, but it's just something to get curious about. So get weird. Be curious. The next one I have here on my list is know thyself. This is where somatic work comes into all of these, if we're being honest. This is more obvious, I think, but knowing thyself so deeply that you know the difference between truth and trauma. Because otherwise you run off into storyland based on your historic lived experiences and you apply that to the future, even though it has not yet occurred. So those experiences might feel really real, but are you creating a story? And you'll know that based on if this is familiar or not, if this matches the current circumstances, if this is a pattern that you've noticed, that will be an indicator. But truly, somatic work will help you identify that on an even deeper level, because in the sensations in the body, you'll be like, oh yeah, there's that. So that actually has been super helpful in giving less fucks and having more fun, because when you free yourself from the handcuffs of operating from the space of constant historic, like knee-jerk reactions and responses, you free yourself even more on the other side. And with more freedom comes more expression, more openness, and more willingness to just be seen, heard, witnessed, held, all of those things. So that's been a huge thing for me, and where somatic work has been extremely helpful. No chameleon vibes is the next thing I have on my list. So oftentimes we will see women, and this was a huge one that resonated for my clients at Unmade. We will see women groomed to be complimented when they are selfless. The problem with being selfless is that it doesn't include yourself. And I think selfish is actually a better way to be, because if you pour into yourself first, then you actually are giving from somewhere of substance. Otherwise, if you're giving to other people before you pour into yourself, you're giving nothing in truth. You're giving a bunch of emptiness and, an empty gas tank. That's not a great place to give from. So no chameleon vibes is knowing that you don't have to be anyone but yourself for anyone else ever. That's free. Can you imagine, like, you actually speak up for your healthy boundaries? You actually voice what you want, what you don't want. You're clear on it, and you're committed to that. That's really free. From that place, you can play and have a lot more fun because you're clear on your vision. And when you're clear on your vision, you don't compromise it, right? Because you're just like, no, this is my truth and this is where I stand. So that's something that's huge. Again, that requires some more somatic work, because historically it's probably been a fawn response where we go into, who do I need to be in order to keep this relationship with you? That's often the question we ask in that space unconsciously. But now you break off that pattern, you uncouple it, and you go there less, right? You abandon yourself less, you betray yourself less. And so there's more energy available for you, and you're clear on who you even are. It's such a great feeling. So free. Definitely less fucks. Maybe we should come up with like a ranking scale, like on the scale of, zero fucks, like where are we at? I don't know. Maybe it's an idea. Okay, the next one is get out of your normal environment. This was huge for me. I continually put myself in weird and crazy situations and experiences with people that call out like just the deepest sense of wonderment and also exploration. So I have a few examples of this, but getting out of my normal environment would look like going to a mastermind or a retreat with a group of people that I know are going to call out my highest self. One of the masterminds I went to, while it was more of a business mastermind, there was a couple there, and Jake and I just absolutely adore them. And what was the certification that they have? CAP, Kundalini Awakening Process. And they were like, guys, on the last day before everyone has to leave Mexico, do you guys want to do the Kundalini Awakening Process? And everyone that was still in town was like, yeah, like 100%. We absolutely want to do that. So Jake and I signed up for it. Maybe there were 10 other people. Guys, it was fucking crazy as shit. I've done Reiki sessions before with a practitioner. I've done a lot of, quote unquote weird things to just like get back into my body, but to break through these barriers that I've put, around myself. And this one was one of the top 3 I think I've ever had. So basically, we're laying down in a circle, and I just chose to be open. I chose to be surrendered. I just said, I'm open to where this experience takes me, which is, I will tell you 1000%, never, ever an experience I thought I would ever do. If you even told me this 3 years ago, I'd be like, no fucking way, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. These people are hippies and freaks and whatever. Like, my inner judger would have just been strong and very vocal online. And I mean like online in terms of running like my brain, not social media. Anyway, we lay down, like we're in this circle shape, but we're just laying down on yoga mats. And they did a demonstration, and he's doing what looks like energy work outside her body, and her body is responding as if there are strings there, but there's not. And I'm like, I'm a little skeptical, but I'm also like, again, I'm super open to wherever this experience is going to take me. And, her body's like dancing almost. So I close my eyes, and a couple minutes later, I hear someone, as the music's starting, and I know he's moving around the room and she's moving around the space. I hear someone start screaming, like releasing anger. And I'm like, whoa, okay. But it actually gave me courage to go there in myself with wherever it was taking me. Again, very open. And I was out of my normal environment. So it's like, well, when in Mexico, why not do a Kundalini awakening process? And I have a willing partner who wants to do these things with me. This is great. So I start feeling tingling. I'm laying down on my back, and I kid you not, at one point, my back starts to arch. My chin pulls up towards the sky like a string attached to a cloud, like pulling me. And I open my eyes briefly, and I see him standing above me, maybe 2 or 3 feet, with his hand like just right above me. And it was like, whoa, this is real. And so from that point on, it was like people were laughing, crying, screaming. I felt tingling in like my right hand, but my left hand felt clenched, and there were emotions rising and falling, just moving through me. And I just let it go. I just let it all come up and come out. And it was awesome. At one point I was screaming and crying. Then I was laughing. I mean, from the outside, we looked like a bunch of crazy people, but it was so awesome. It was so great, because every time I have an experience like that, I am more free from everything that's held me back. Everything I thought I was, everything I thought I wasn't, everything that I thought was real. Those experiences they shift me in massive ways. And so I will continue to put myself in rooms like that and continue to sign up for experiences like that, because it's fun. It's so fun to push the limits and see like how open of a channel we really can be. So that was cool, and I loved it. But do it out of your normal environment. Like, get out of your day-to-day, get out of the room, out of the desk, out of the normal routine, and just take yourself somewhere different. I mean, maybe it's the Unmade retreat here in Atlanta. Maybe I'm going to bring you through some exercises and things you never thought you would do. We had women screaming and crying in our last retreat. And it was like, yes, like they told me afterwards, like that was the moment for me that changed everything. I have never felt so light. And that's amazing, because I know on the back end of that, they go home and they feel like a more expressed, free version of themselves that, you guessed it, gives less fucks. Another one I had was learning how to maintain the me, even when you're with we. What I mean by that is that you know who you are in a partnership, and you don't abandon yourself to join the space of we, the relationship, more than you are comfortable being with yourself. That's free, because suddenly you give less fucks about what that person's doing and what you make it mean about you. But also you just reclaim your worth there. Okay. So as a historically anxious attachment person in relationship, and Mark Groves said this on his Create the Love podcast, but, or maybe it's just, he's Create the Love on Instagram. I don't know if that's the name of his podcast. It might just be Mark Groves. Anyway, he's awesome. There was one thing he said that always stuck with me, and it was, in the process of becoming a we, I always lost me. And that was always my experience too. So I had to learn how to not resentfully spend time with me and love that space, but be more comfortable there than I am in the we space, because otherwise I'm placing so much value and emphasis on we that everything that other person does or doesn't do means something about me, right? Oh, they didn't call me back. Oh, they didn't text me back. When did they see that text message? Did they look at my Instagram story? It's a looping thought mindfuck, okay? And so if you can learn to feel safe in your body, and by learn, I mean get somatic support to actually rewire that experience in your nervous system, where you feel safe to be with yourself and you feel safe to let go, then you can start to claim back your power and free yourself from the constraints that relationship maybe has previously put upon you. So I know that's kind of a heavier one and there's a lot of layers to that, but that was a huge one for me that took a lot of time, I would say, and there's still moments, if I'm being honest, that come up, but I can't even tell you the relief and the freedom I feel in just knowing that I am 1000% worthy of having the relationship I desire. And it means nothing truly like what that other person does or doesn't do about me. Like that's on them. And if I'm not okay with it at a certain point, then I'm okay because I have me. Like I am okay and I am safe. And so that's really powerful because giving less fucks there really helped me claim my power back. And again, really just lends itself to having more fun. I think along the way, we've been adulting so hard that we've forgotten how to have fun. Truly, I think we've been so disconnected from our childlike wonderment that we forget what it even feels like to have fun. Because fun is pointless. It's playful and it's free. And the example I'll give here is think about if you have a child or if you can think back to your childhood and you lock hands with an adult and you put your head back and you just let them spin you and swing you around. You're completely surrendered. There is no point to it. There's no goal in mind, but you're free in your body and in that moment. You're not aware of anyone watching or if you're doing it right or how it should feel. You're just there. You're just in the experience. And you're fully trusting that you're held and supported, that adult is not going to let go. And that you can just be in that moment completely. Like that feeling, if you can apply that or connect back to that, that's what I want you to touch into every day. Not just when you leave your normal environment. Not just when you go try these interesting workshops and experiences. And we talked about that at the Unmade Retreat. I made sure that we talked about that because the last thing I want is for a client to either be coaching with me or in one of my programs or attending an in-person retreat. And I call this going to church. And they're like, wow, hallelujah. That was fucking amazing. Changed my life. Incredible. All these light bulbs are going off, like crazy breakthroughs. I feel so good. I feel so peaceful and free. I give less fucks. I had fun. And now I'm going home to my regular life and like this robotic thing starts to take hold and they go right back to what they were doing prior, right? They went to church, they went home, they forgot everything they learned. And maybe you don't have a positive experience of church, but you get the concept. You understand what I'm saying when I'm like, okay, you feel inspired and now you go home and you do everything the same. So something's got to change, but what happens if you're able to say, what if I take what I learned there? What if I accessed the piece that I created there and I brought it home with me? What if I never lost that? So bringing out your inner child and exploring what play feels like in your body, that surrendered, trusting feeling, that comes from giving less fucks, truly. And I believe that the gateway to that, the access point, is somatics, that mind-body connection that allows you to feel safe because your nervous system and somatic capacity has been expanded to let you relax and stop feeling so responsible all the time. So those are just a few. If you guys have any that you want to share with me, you can tag me at literallyfirstclass on Instagram and or use the hashtag literallyfirstclass and I'll check it out. I want to see what first class moves you're making this week. And I'm curious what you guys come up with regarding this, regarding your list. What helps you give less fucks? What would be on your list? So I hope you have an awesome week. Happy Thanksgiving. And I'll see you here on the podcast next time.
I hope you enjoyed your flight, and I'll see you on board again soon.
Seriously though, thanks for listening. If you're ready to take this work deeper and upgrade your mind, I want to invite you to join us inside my Millionaire Mindset program. This is where you'll start using my guided meditations to help you overcome anxiety and experience even more abundance. When you join, you'll have access to my entire audio library. Head over to elevatewithkeri.com and we'll see you inside.